We're going to get into our first review. So our first review is Jurassic World Dominion. Jurassic World Dominion is the latest sequel in the Jurassic World series following Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. This is the third movie in the franchise of the Jurassic World series. This is starring Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard. In this movie, this is set 4 years after the events of Fallen Kingdom. If you don't remember Fallen Kingdom, I don't blame you. At the end of that movie, you had...
Spoilers for Fallen Kingdom. These fucking dumbasses unleashed dinosaurs into the real world.
To be fair, one specific dumbass does it.
This dumbass little fucking brat kid.
Yeah.
Why aren't they charged on war crimes in this movie?
There's a lot of things that should have happened that don't happen in this movie. But you could equate that for the entire trilogy as a whole.
You could equate that to just this franchise existing.
That's what I'm saying.
Just
it doesn't. Yeah.
We got so busy. We got so occupied with whether or not we could. Nobody ever stopped to think if we should.
That's basically been the motto of this entire series, basically. Which I guess it's doing well financially. I mean, hey, they made a third movie, so I guess it's doing that well. I don't know. I haven't been seeing what the box office is for this movie as of yet, but because we're doing this on a Friday,
I think it was pretty solid.
I think it was a 15 million opening day.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. So here, this movie, Jurassic World Dominion is set 4 years after the events of Fallen Kingdom. So, like you said, they released the dinosaurs out into the wild. They set them free. And that basically sets up the events for this movie, where you kind of have a good introduction, news kind of reel of people discussing dinosaurs living in this kind of environment. There are people hunting the dinosaurs. There are people
which they say 32 people have died in the 4 years since the 4 years since dinosaurs came into the world. That is bullshit.
Yeah, it seems like the number would be kind of a lot higher than that.
It would be astronomically high. It would be around 10,000.
They've killed hundreds of people.
4 years would be closer probably to about a couple 100,000.
Who is counting these numbers? Did fucking Trump's election campaign count these?
But I mean, that's what they say.
Like stab the cat.
Because, I mean, which I thought was kind of a good opening to the movie, them doing the newsreel of, because I think there's a lot of interesting concepts that are there, what I mean, of the whole dinosaurs being in amongst humans, and how they coexisting, how are they, living in this world, because you do have dinosaurs that are being hunted, so these poachers, you do have a situation where people are capturing these dinosaurs and then doing kind of like cockfighting with them. Dogfighting with the dinosaurs, which is interesting. How have the dinosaurs changed the ecosystem, them being here? They don't really elaborate on a lot of that.
No.
Have they?
The way it ends implies something even more stupid.
Yeah, I mean, so, yeah. We're going to get to the ending and everything like that, everything about it. But, yeah, I mean, it kind of sets up in a very nice way of, like, maybe these interesting concepts. But it goes to kind of a more boring kind of thing of more lame kind of a lame rich villain who owns this company. Here in this movie, you have Biosync, who is the new corporate evil villain here. Also, kind of a big thing with this, movie is you have the returning legacy characters here: Jeff Goldblum, Sam Neill, Laura Dern, big legacy characters from the first Jurassic Park movie, and them coming back, I mean, is kind of nice because, all three of them have aged gracefully. They all look really good. They all kept themselves in good shape and everything like that.
I've never believed that Laura Dern was only 23 in the first movie. I've never believed that.
Oh, really? Oh, she was only just 23 in the first.
Yeah, she.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. I mean, Yeah, but they look fantastic. And they're kind of coming back. Them being here, it's almost like two separate movies almost, because this movie, one thing, it's very long too. This movie's 2 hours and 30 minutes. I don't remember the runtime of the last two movies. I think they were just like
they were also pretty long.
They're all like comparable lengths. I think this might be the shortest one.
Really, this is the shortest one.
Maybe.
I thought I
don't know. I think they're all over 2 hours.
Yeah, I think they're all good about 2 hours. Okay, so Jurassic World was 2 hours and 4 minutes, and then Fallen Kingdom was about 2 hours and 9, so about the same length. But this one has a kind of a more bloated time of 2 hours and 30 minutes in this new Dominion movie. So yeah, it's kind of like two separate movies going on, because you have a storyline with the legacy characters investigating Biosync and kind of what they're up to. Then you have another storyline where Chris Pratt's character and Bryce Dallas Howard's character, their child, as well as the dinosaur partner companion they've had, Blue child also got kidnapped.
Blue's baby gets kidnapped also, and they have to like go a globe-trotting adventure to try and get their kids back.
Yeah, he makes a promise to a dinosaur to get Blue's kids back, and then also he tries to get.
It's as stupid as it sounds.
Yeah, so it's kind of like two separate movies kind of going on. You got like a Taken movie going on here, and then you got kind of this other action kind of movie going on, and them investing in this company here, that all culminates at the end. A lot of these characters, I mean, I'm not huge into Jurassic Park. I'm not like a super fan of Jurassic Park or anything like that. I've seen the first one years ago, and I liked it. Of course, it's classic, and everything like that. It seems like this movie was really trying to be the end game for Jurassic Park, because of the returning legacy characters, and when they because I'm telling you, if you're expecting like a good buddy movie between the legacy characters and the new characters, that doesn't happen till the last 20 minutes of the movie. So if you're really expecting all that, like that doesn't really happen until the last like 20, 30 minutes. And when they first
they make you wait for that, and it feels like a wait.
Yeah, and when they even meet each other, it seems like there's this awkward moment where they're like, okay, let's put this in the movie, because this is where the audience is going to lose their shit. This is where there's going to be the huge audience reaction, and that's what it kind of feels like. And with the returning kind of legacy characters, there's so many times where the other characters in the movie constantly say, oh, wait, you're Alan Grant and you're Ellie Sattler. They say that there's 3 or 4 people who stop and to recognize that these are 2 people from the old movies, and they do that, which is really annoying, by the way, that they kind of do that.
It was just as annoying in in the first Jurassic World, where they would literally stop the movie in order to show artifacts from the original Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like
it was even more annoying in this than it was there.
Yeah. What were kind of your guys' thoughts watching the movie?
Me, I think the Jurassic World movies are one of the worst blockbuster franchises of the 2010s. The first Jurassic World, it has some cool ideas of hey, what if we like had a full-on theme park? What if the genetic experimentation went awry? And it's just bogged down by this cast who look like they would rather be doing anything else. And I think Chris Pratt, he's grossly miscast as the badass lead in this franchise. I think what works about Chris Pratt is because, he is, that big, strong, like, I guess objectively handsome dude. But what works about characters like him, like his portrayal of Star-Lord, of Andy Dwyer, is they're kind of a buffoon. And even in Guardians of the Galaxy, Star-Lord, even though he's the main character of the films, he's not like the most competent member of the Guardians. That would be Gamora. It's like he's like the charm of him is he is posturing and he's not that good at his job. And here they tried to have us buy him as this like super badass raptor trader, which also stupid. And he has zero chemistry with Bryce Dallas Howard, which is like the big linchpin of I think all 3 of these movies.
Yeah. Bradley Martin said Owen. Yeah, Owen Grant, which is the character name for Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
In the movie.
Owen, goddamn Grady.
Grady. I'm sorry, I said Grant. Grady. Owen Grady. Yeah. Yeah. Dusk.
Yeah. Owen Grady, who's taken time off from his time working at conversion camps.
Dusk. What about you?
I like Red Letter Media's jokes about it, calling him Owen Thunderguns.
Owen Thunderguns.
Their joke is better on that. But yeah, so I agree with Nick pretty much on everything on it. Even this has been one of the most difficult franchises kind of blockbusters just to see, because you just keep wondering, how is this making so much money? I know people like dinosaurs, but there's nothing to these movies. There's nothing. It's the false facade of nostalgia, but there's no inner workings. You want to talk about the end game? There was an end game to this franchise. It was called Jurassic Park. It was a one and done. It was based on a book, and that was it. It had a sequel book, which really didn't even get fully adapted in the sequel, and that was made by Steven Spielberg. And even he was like, I already did one of them. I don't even want to do another. And then Jurassic 3, which, again, had some interesting ideas, but that also was like just the weakest one of them, and just it should have just been left alone, just like the first one.
Yeah, I think this franchise, it's like the example I come to, because do you remember that clip of Ethan Hawke talking about a lot of how his comments about superhero movies got misconstrued?
Yeah,
and he was basically saying that yes, you can find joy, art in anything. It could be a superhero movie, a horror movie, even one of these movies. And the films that work are the films that people put their heart and soul into, and the ones that don't are the ones that people make just to make money.
Yep.
That is basically Jurassic's 2 through now.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. And you can see it.
Yeah, I mean...
but...
Well, I think with, I mean, there's people who are working on these movies of every movie. Like, I don't think anybody sets out to do a bad job. You know what I mean? I think, you know what I mean? So yeah, this, I mean, obviously sequels are set up, cash grab from the studio. But people,
I mean, dude, do you know who's in the director chair? Colin Trevorrow again. A man who was promised a Star Wars film, but then released the Book of Henry, which he wrote and directed. A movie so bad, Disney fired his ass.
Yeah.
Well, there are other reasons
get the fuck out of here. Well, also that.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm sorry about that. I interrupted you there.
No, it's all good. So, speaking of Colin Trevorrow, yes, this is the third time he's directed these movies. He has also collaborated with his writer, Derek Connolly. They worked on many movies together, including a movie I did like called Safety Not Guaranteed. That was Colin Trevorrow and Derek Connolly's first movie together. Colin directed it, Derek wrote it. And for the last couple of movies... Here's a list of movies that Derek has written. He wrote Jurassic World. He did the screenplay. He did Monster Trucks. Wrote the screenplay for that. He did Kong Skull Island. He co-wrote.
I actually like Kong Skull Island.
That's like his only alright one. Even then, it has problems. He also co-wrote with Colin Trevorrow Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. He co-wrote with Dan Hernandez, Benji Schmidt, and Rob Letterman for Pokemon Detective Pikachu. He co-wrote Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker with Colin Trevorrow and J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. That never even got so he's still on there, even if their version of the script didn't get released. And he helped co-write this again with Kevin Trevorrow and Emily Carmichael. I'm seeing a pattern here. Basically, they had one really good indie hit early on, and it's just been the same type of screenplay writing. A vague facade of nostalgia with a fairly incomprehensible, ridiculous plot with very thin characters and just a lot of action scenes to make up for it. And that gets old real fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think something that actually works about at least the first Jurassic Park film is you spend enough time with getting to know all of the main characters, so that when they are put in actual danger of these dinosaurs, there's actually a sense of tension. And they tried to do that here, but I couldn't give a fuck about any of these people. I was waiting on you to get your fucking head chewed off, because Colin Trevorrow, he likes to punish people that do nothing wrong.
Oh, I think like that. Like the girl.
The grossest example is the assistant in the first movie, a character who did nothing wrong.
She has no character, anyways,
and is brutalized for it for a long time.
I like that scene.
And they linger on the different levels of animals that take her, and then eventually all get eaten. And you're going, who was that character? She was just there to help the kids. We didn't see her for the last 45 minutes in this movie.
Yeah, that was a good death, though.
What was the point of it?
I thought that was a pretty good death scene. Actually, I thought that was pretty fun.
I mean, but it doesn't have meaning. That's the whole point. This franchise has a lot of cool death moments or cool whatever, but they don't have any meaning. What's the point of the guy, the Indian guy who's he's the head of this?
The idiot fucking Indian helicopter pilot.
Yeah, he's the head of this. He should not be flying this. He's the head of their company.
Yeah, who also gets so many people killed.
He does. This whole program. And he's like, oh, I want to preserve Hammond's legacy. Then you wouldn't have reopened the park.
Okay. All right, okay, you're talking about the first one. Okay, talking about the first Jurassic World.
I'm talking about.
Okay.
Jurassic. Yeah,
okay.
First.
Yeah, all right. Okay, so with Dominion here, so you do kind of have, with these kind of lack of stakes here with this movie, because with all these kind of characters in here, nothing's really going to happen to them, so there's kind of lack of tension. So when you see the dinosaur, when you see them chasing them, and the dinosaur's going to do like the Jurassic Park thing of the big chomp and do that, they're going to get nothing but air. So as they try to bite their ankles or their ass or whatever, they're going to get nothing but air.
Nobody important is in any danger.
Yeah, so nobody of significance of this movie is in danger.
In addition, this is the same plot as the previous movies.
Oh.
If you've seen Jurassic Park, you've seen this. Specifically, if you've seen the previous one, congratulations, you've seen this again. It's like Owen Thunderguns and Claire have to go and do something involving dinosaurs. Blue is there.
That they are not in any way qualified to do.
Correct. They go there. Other characters join them on their journey, whether they're relevant or not, or have their own side thing. They don't. That ultimately doesn't really matter to the end of the plot.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's an evil rich bad guy who wants to control dinosaurs. There's dinosaurs that fight each other for some reason. They bet money on it because they can control that. And at the very end, things happen. And we shouldn't let dinosaurs, and maybe dinosaurs are meant to be. That's the only thing that kind of changes. It's like, and BD Wong shows up as his geneticist character, doing something vaguely evil for some reason. To do something genetic involved.
Doing something vaguely evil only to have a redemption completely unearned.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Go ahead, Josh.
So you got, kind of BD Wong in there who's, back, and, some other characters as well.
I'm happy the guy's getting work. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy the guy's getting work.
And that could apply to most of the people in this cast. Because you have a solid cast. You have Mamadou Ati who was in that film Black Box. You have Omar Sy from The Untouchables and Lupin, and you give them nothing to do.
Yeah.
There's interesting kind of world building elements here, like I said. Also with some of the the dinosaurs, the way they look good, and they even throw some practical looking dinosaurs in here as well. So I thought that was also kind of nice, because they could have just said, well, screw it, let's just make it all CGI with all the looking creatures. But they did throw some practical looking ones in there. And thank you, Bradley Martin. Thank you for the follow, by the way. Much appreciated. And also, I think that with some of the kind of new additions, with DeWanda Wise, I think is a big new addition to the cast. And actually, one of the characters I actually did really like coming into this. I thought her whole kind of background was kind of interesting. Her action scenes were good.
Okay.
and kind of her being in this underground black market world of dinosaurs, I thought was very
I agree that DeWanda Wise is good in the film. What do we know about her besides that she is a pilot that goes out of her way to help this complete stranger for evidently no reason because script needed her to?
Well, yeah. I think she's a fine character just in terms of, and then her helping them, and I mean, because you could see with the movie she was kind of uneasy about doing the stuff with the girl in the first place, because she's the one that I think, because wasn't she the one that transported the girl or helped transport the girl on the plane to get to Biosync? So you could tell she was very uneasy about that and maybe kind of wanted to turn around. I mean, I mean, in this movie, no characters are deep, really. I mean, there's no deep character here, but I just thought she was kind of a cool character. No. And the way she kind of, like, her whole thing of being being the pilot, being kind of this black market kind of realm of the kind of this world, I thought was pretty nice. But yeah, I mean, what kind of, how did you feel about that character?
I thought it. Okay, whenever we get we ever see like discourse online about how like other blockbusters are adding black or LGBT characters, and you get the fucking shit heels that complainers like, hey, make it look, and just complaining about like token casting. That's what I felt with this, because she doesn't really contribute anything. She felt pretty much just as a diversity hire in some aspects.
So you thought this was a diversity hire in this?
This feels like it, and I'm not attacking DeWanda Wise. I'm attacking Colin Trevorrow.
Yeah.
So I mean,
her character was weak, basically.
I think every character in this movie is weak.
Yeah. I mean, so really, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter.
At the end of the
characters,
I think every character.
At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I just thought she was just cool. Yeah. I just thought she was a decent character. I just thought she was cool with the whole stuff she was doing with the black market stuff. I just thought it was fine. And then the pilot stuff. Okay, maybe you just needed a character to help them get from point A to point B.
A to B.
You know what I mean? And
which is bad. Which is just bad script writing.
Yeah, they could have just look. What we're trying to say is if Jurassic is this bad is so bad, it makes Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. That is like a Netflix made for its own CGI series, has better character development than the movies they come from. You've got problems.
Okay, and Javon Good just commented about my diversity hire, and he asked me how I feel about No Time to Die. Lashana Lynch in that film is actually a character, which is the difference. She has her own dynamic with James Bond. She contributes to the plot and the action in a way that I don't think DeWanda Wise does here.
But that was a better movie.
Yes.
That was a better movie.
Yes.
A movie, too.
I will give Time to Die that. It indeed is a better movie. How much better is debatable, but it is a better movie.
Yeah. I mean,
it at least has action scenes. It has characters. What they do with those characters you might not like, and the story that it's kind of myth, but at least it has those. It has those things.
Yeah, it has personality and stakes with its characters and its action.
Yeah,
or at least makes the attempt.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, I don't think anybody's really that good in the movie. I think she adds more personality to things than Chris Pratt or Bryce Dallas Howard, who's here. Who, like you said, I don't think they have any really good chemistry. I never really liked their relationship.
No, they've never had good chemistry.
No, they've never had that.
And then even in the first film, it's like they were supposed to have this sexual tension or anything, but it seemed like he just kind of negged her into the relationship. So it's like, I never really
feel that.
Like, it just seemed like
he's just pulling like pickup artist shit in order to end up with her at the end of the movie.
It worked though.
Because it's a movie, and you need. He's the prominent guy. She's the prominent woman in this, so you're gonna have.
Chris Pratt's age. Bryce Dallas Howard is actually age appropriate, so that was probably why they have no chemistry.
Yeah. So you kind of have that, in the movie and everything like that. I never really liked their relationship. throughout these movies. Then they have now they're taking care of the girl from the last movie, Fallen Kingdom, the clone. She doesn't have anything to do besides she's the rebellious teenager. She even has the rebellious teenager attire, which is the army surplus jacket with the patches on it, and she's got the beanie, the ripped jeans. You know what I mean? So
and flannel shirt and T-shirt of a band that I'm sure she's never even heard of before.
Yeah, that's the rebellious team starter pack. You know what I mean? That she's got going on.
Yeah, and yeah, this movie is every single complaint I have about modern blockbusters, all in one overlong package.
Yeah. And it's a shame too, because when you talked about a sequel to a franchise and everything, you just had that really done well with Top Gun Maverick. That was done really really well. It actually did something with the characters in that and advancing the story. But yeah, I mean, this does nothing for that. And I've heard people say that this Dominion movie is the best of the Jurassic World movies, which isn't. Again, you have to add the caveat of saying,
"Fuck off!"
that these movies in general have not been very good. So you have to add that kind of in there as a as a caveat. I mean, watching this one, I mean, I haven't watched Fallen Kingdom or the first one in a while. I remember kind of enjoying the first one, Jurassic World. I thought, okay, it's shit going crazy, and then it sets off, because after that moment happens with the first explosion or something, then the whole park goes crazy, and all the dinosaurs run around killing people, That's what you want to see. You want to see dinosaurs eat humans and chomp them up and do all that stuff. That's what you want to see. And I would be interested to find out if this movie has like the least amount of dinosaur kills in it, or dinosaurs killing humans in it, because I try to think of like how many people died in this really from dinosaurs. I don't think that many. So I'd be interested to see how many, what's the kill count here actually of these. So I think
we'll check out Dead Meat when it comes out.
Yeah, it'll eventually come on Dead Meat. Yeah.
I'd be interested to kind of see that.
Shout out to Dead Meat.
But yeah, I mean, this one I think it's overly too long. A lot of the characters are not good. There. It wastes good world building elements that you could have done in the movie and could have gone down a good path. I think, I guess I don't know if I'm not a huge Jurassic Park fan, even if maybe some people are. If you like the return of a lot of these legacy characters of Jeff Goldblum and Laura Dern and Sam Neill, I think they're semi-decent in it.
Yes. So for me, this is a better movie than Fallen Kingdom. Only because it has at least like one element that actually worked for me. And that was every time the original cast was on screen. That's when it felt like there was a legitimate like plot and character and story going on. All of that stuff actually worked for me.
Okay. Dust?
Well, it did that. Having those actors there, because they actually had natural chemistry, which reminds you of the original movie, which makes you go, man, I should just probably be watching the original instead of this. That's all you can think of when watching that. It's like, yeah, that was a much better movie. I'm gonna watch that instead. I really want to watch that. That does your movie no service. So in a way, it kind of hinders the movie as well. Splitting the movie in half also doesn't help, where you have one that actually is somewhat interesting, but it's ultimately a rehash of what came before in the original movies, and also feels almost like a fixing mistakes territory, where it starts getting into that territory, which is you gotta watch out for that, because I don't think we brought up, but Lauren Dern's character, according to Jurassic 3, she never ended up with Alan Grant. That was a big snafu for a lot of people, that they didn't end up together. So they begin this, they make very plain, oh yeah, she divorced that guy, even though she has kids, and divorced them, and that's all thing. But now she's gonna get back together with Alan, and you're like,
hey, she's older, reconnected with an old.
No, that's fine.
Just doing she's just doing her eat, pray, love phase.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's just one of those things where it's guys, I saw this. I didn't even need Jurassic 3. I didn't need any of this. But all right. This movie tries so hard to be like a finale or a finish off in this, but all it does is just remind you why this just never even needed to be. So I'm gonna go to ratings, honestly, if we want to jump to that, because I got nothing else to say to this movie. personally speaking, this is arguably I would say this is no better than the previous one. At least I have more of a laugh with the previous one and how stupid it was. I mean, this is pretty stupid, but at least that one had like a dinosaur trying to chase a little girl through a room, and at least, and he was trying to like figure out how to open a door, and then just gave up on it. And they couldn't decide on the level of intelligence of the dinosaurs. I almost wish this movie was stupider. Like, I wish they just like spliced dino DNA with humans and just made a horror movie. That would have been more fun. That was actually original concept for they were going to make for the first Jurassic World. That was the idea, and they scrapped it. It was originally going to be Jurassic 4. You can see concept art for it. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, but
I would have rather had that, honestly.
Yeah, but if you wanted something cool, you don't hire Colin.
No, I know. So, because of that, I'm just gonna say skip it. This is a skip it. This is a tune out. Get out of here. Don't even bother with it.
Yeah.
I don't even hate it. I don't even hate it. That's why I don't say like it's a waste of film. It borders on that. But it's a like if you like it, you like it. But this is a tune out for everybody else.
Yeah, for me, I've had this conversation a lot. And if a film is over 2 hours, but it's like really like well paced and engaging throughout, stuff like the Batman, stuff like the Northman, Everything Everywhere All at Once, then I'm not going to take the length as a knock against the film.
Right.
But when you're over 2 hours and it feels like work, it feels like work to get through this movie. I think the characters are all completely flat. I think the script is even, in some ways, it's even dumber than the last film. It's a frustrating movie because there are elements in this that I actually did enjoy, unlike the last movie. I enjoyed the interaction of the original cast because they have that such natural chemistry. There are some scenes with the dinosaurs that I thought worked really well. When they finally play a factor in the story, which, spoiler, they don't until like the third act of the movie. Even some of the side characters that get wasted, like Omar Sy, like Mamadou Ati, I thought they were interesting ideas, but they do nothing with them. The only reason that I'm not giving this a waste of fucking film is because, unlike something like Morbius or Uncharted, there are elements in this that I actually did get some enjoyment out of, which I just mentioned. But besides that, this is just a skip it film.
Yeah.
Like I said, for the few decent things they do, the practical kind of looking dinosaurs and the way the dinosaurs look, I mean, at this point, it's not really spectacular anymore. I mean, we've all seen them in multiple films. They look fine, and that's kind of good. They stuck with some of the practical kind of look of some of the dinosaurs. The world building elements I thought were fine. It just, they didn't explore those, and they went a totally different, uninteresting route with that. And also the whole thing with Chris Pratt's character, like, holding up his hand and stopping any dinosaur.
It's stupid.
That didn't make any sense because there was a specific reason why he would do that. In the first one.
It works in the first one because those raptors have been bred in captivity, and they know him and trust him and would listen to him. But random fucking dinosaurs.
Remember in the first movie though. I can't believe I'm getting any credit, but I'm gonna give a little credit. In the first movie, they tried to even explain that even better when they said, yes, they were bred in captivity, and it doesn't always work. It doesn't it's 50-50 sometimes, where he has to constantly, he can never show any form of weakness, and he's like, hey, back off, I see you, and they're like, but they're still moving closer, even though he's doing back off, and some of them back off because he has to constantly prove he's the alpha. That actually has a very good wolf pack mentality to it, and he has to constantly show that he's the king of the castle, or else they're gonna all ape on him. In this, he just waves his hand like it's magic, like he's being Crocodile Dundee.
He's got fucking force powers.
Yeah, nah, man, you can't do that with that.
Yeah. And then other characters start doing it too, and then they start then all of a sudden it's like that doesn't even make any sense. But yeah, I mean, it's just to give it a rating. I guess I'd give it a maybe that low skip it. You know what I mean? Bordering on waste of film. Seeing some of the older characters come back is kind of nice. And like I said, DeWanda Wise character I thought was fun. I thought she was the only one kind of having some good personality here. Besides the legacy characters coming back. So I mean that's kind of the only thing that's kind of for me stopping it from being a waste of film, waste of fucking film for me. It's kind of those elements, the world building elements, the dinosaurs, and you're gonna get and also if you're saying like, okay, what about am I gonna get good dinosaur battles or anything like that? I don't know. I think maybe that was better in the first one. Honestly, I think what I mean. I think the first one had a better, bigger dinosaur battle than this one did. So yeah, for me, I just give it a low skip it for me. All right. So moving on from discussing Jurassic World Dominion.